All right, welcome back to Lockdown Sports. It's another rapid review. England is one step closer to
Yep.
taking football back home. 1-0 win against Serbia. Done it the hard way, John. Done it the hard way. I would
Yeah.
say nice early goal. You see Kyle Walker on the right flank like he usually is, left unmarked, unguarded, and plays pretty delightful ball, I'd say, for Bukayo Saka. Cross gets deflected, and when a cross gets deflected, there's one man from Madrid that is
Yeah.
bound to be on the end of it. And
Always in the right spot. Always.
always in the right spot is the best way to put it because this guy just has a knack for scoring that has not stopped this season, despite what anyone might have thought about him. But he just
Yeah.
keeps on going, and we're not going to get into a Ballon d'Or chat at 7 o'clock in the morning here, fellas. But
No, we are not.
I understand if you want to. I understand if you want to. But the rest of this game, you've got a pretty average Harry Kane performance, but Jude Bellingham, like I said, running the show. Bukayo Saka looked good. John
Yeah.
Stones, Mark Wehi looked solid enough in that
Yep.
second half. We'll see how that goes when there's bigger opponents to play. But your thoughts, John, man of the match for you?
I would have to go Jude Bellingham. Just
Mm,
especially in the first half, the way he controlled the game and obviously being on the end of that cross, his impact was really felt running the show for England, as you said. Running
mm.
point guard, as we say, if you know basketball, he was running point guard for England that first half. But yeah, he really set the tone for them, got them off to a good start, even though they did struggle in that second half. You still got to go with Jude. Even defensively, he had
Yeah.
great ball recoveries. He got back, helped out, stopped some momentum from Serbia as well. So an all-round
Yeah.
performance from him, and you've got
Because
to go Jude.
everyone just remembers him. Once you have a knack for goal scoring, you sort of forget about what other things a midfielder might have to his game.
Yeah,
And that was the whole conversation. That's why people probably wanted Phil Foden down the middle. That's why people probably were wondering how Jude is going to work with Harry Kane. But you see
yeah,
today, both of them can occupy the box and create space for each other because you have to mark them so tightly. Harry Kane
yeah,
and Jude Bellingham have such an amazing box threat. And as soon as Jared Bowen came on, Harry Kane almost scored a second. So
yeah,
Kane was a little bit sloppy, I would say today. Like he had a lot of 1v1s. We'll get into the lineups, I guess,
yeah.
here. And
I wouldn't
what
say he
you've
was
got
too
is
sloppy. Yeah,
I I wouldn't call it
no, it's a
sloppy,
one-on-one,
but
right?
Nikola Milenkovic was quality, like
Yeah,
1v1. Like he was
yeah.
he
He
was
played great.
locking it down
Yeah,
1v1, and I think he's 6'5", and he's
yeah. Just
probably
he had the great build for it. Great build, great
probably
size,
the
great speed
prototype you want
for Harry
against
Kane.
Harry Kane,
Yeah,
because Kane
yeah,
doesn't have that pace anymore. So if that's not going to be a worry, one of these units that maybe doesn't have the pace to keep up with, I was about to say Rashford, but Saka and the other guys that have, been invited to this party in
yeah,
Germany. It's okay if your job is to guard Harry Kane. And what I want to get into, I guess, is Trent. We saw Trent play in midfield today.
yeah.
Gareth Southgate sticking with it, Trent sticking with it. What did you make of it? Because I don't see much value in it. We were talking throughout the game, and
Yeah.
the things that Trent does for you, he probably could have just done for you at right back. You see Kyle Walker in open space. I feel like really comfortable with Trent just being there.
Uh, I get your point, but I much prefer having Kyle Walker at right back just for that defensive security with this pace. And even on attack with this pace, you saw that one chance where Saka put him through and he just flew past the left back. And England
Hmm.
really should have scored on that play. Trent at midfield, I think we both saw that coming as well. I liked how he played in that first half, especially. He did have a few plays where he lost the ball. I think there was two occasions, and then he lost it once early in the second half as well. But overall, it wasn't a great game. It was a solid game from him, just playing around the midfield. But I think he'll really come into his own in the games where he doesn't have to face a low block, where he can spray it around a bit more from that deep lying midfield position. Because you
I
saw
don't know.
in I think around the 55th minute, he had that phase where he played the long ball across to third of Trippier. That was a great long ball, and then he
Hmm.
fired that shot off, and then he put in a cross where they could have scored again. He had a really good 1 to 2 minute phase there, and that just shows the threat he could have in this team.
Hmm. Look, it's definitely an option to have him, but in those bigger games, like we
Yeah,
saw a couple years ago in France against France in the quarterfinal, it's a very cagey affair. It's a very cagey
yeah,
affair, and the midfielders that won those sort of cagey affairs, they're of a different quality, I think, even to Trent. We talk about Trent as a quality passer,
yeah,
but what you saw even today, he's losing the ball on the dribble.
mm,
He's still not tight with the ball in
yeah,
the first third of play. So all these little things that are a problem now against a low block, I think they
yeah,
double down, and you have less of the ball. A player like Trent in midfield, he's not winning the ball back for you. So
mm,
you say he might help in those games where you need that sort of long ball out to Foden, out to Saka, whoever.
yeah,
But I don't see that being as much of a threat because you're going to have less of the ball as well. So it's a real way up. And I feel like there are midfielders in this squad, and
who would you rather
they
have?
they they I I think Kobe Manu has to be given a shout, but it's
Mm,
not what is going to happen because we saw with the subs today. The first sub here, who was it? It was Conor Gallagher. So
yeah,
they're either sticking with Trent for his creation, or they're going the exact 180 polar opposite with Conor Gallagher, who is nice on the ball, nice enough, but he's a workhorse. That's why he's in the team for the
yeah,
industry next to Declan Rice to close out the game.
yeah.
So
In terms
I
of a
feel like
grind, like yeah, in terms of a grind, Trent maybe not the best player to have, but you saw in that second half when Serbia
mhm,
was dominating them. That one long ball from Trent really broke it open for them. They had like a good few minute phase there. So that's what I can see can be really valuable for them against tougher opponents in the future. But yeah, that midfield battle is going to be the key for England in
mm.
future games with Jude dropping in and then Declan Rice and whoever that third midfielder is.
Yeah, like you saw today, they've got Jude as the number 10, obviously, but
Yeah.
a lot of the game he's on the left of Declan Rice. He was on the left of him quite a lot,
Mm.
and then
Yeah.
when you're in the final third, you were getting to see the Jude we know from Madrid. But it was nice seeing him a little bit deeper than usual as well, because you
Yeah.
you you forget, like, there are some players in this game where they genuinely can do different things. And it's only at an international level where you see them really like explore different parts of their role. So I think that
Yeah.
was great to see.
For sure.
Anyways, let's get into it. We were sort of talking throughout the game, as we always do. We were making NBA comparisons for the footballers, and I think you called Phil Foden Jalen Brown because he couldn't go down the left.
No, no,
I
no.
think
I called him Devin Booker. I called England Jalen Brown because there was no
okay,
left side today at all.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
How you feel about Trippier at left back then? Because he's never going to give you that outside threat. It's always going to be just, I'm here, pass it to
I
my right
like
foot.
it. Like I'm happy with it, but
Mm,
him and Foden or Gareth has got to figure out how him and Foden are going to play together on that left side because I felt Foden was getting into Trippier space way too much today. He was coming, especially in the first half, he was dropping in too deep,
mm,
staying in the passing lane straight to Trippier, really closing that space off. He was trying to play point guard, quarterback, whatever sport you follow in America as well. But that was Jude's role today. He excelled. So Foden's got to stick to his own role. He can't come and play point
nah,
guard as well, like he does in
I,
City here
I,
and
I
there.
think, I think there was a couple of moments in the first half where I was just really happy with how creative everyone was being on the ball. And I actually don't mind
Yeah,
that. If Foden is being spontaneous and dropping in there, those are the sort of questions that Spain, Germany, France are going to ask of you. And like that's the only thing that is like void of structure that is so important
yeah.
because then you
But
don't
I
know who to mark.
feel to some extent, yes, but then you also lose your own shape, and then you can get a bit
Mm,
stuck when you have the ball. And I felt like Trippier got fully taken out of the game by Foden's positioning today. I
mm,
don't know how they want to play it because early on they played him quite high up on the left side, and then Foden
mm,
was also up there. And then when he dropped back, Foden also dropped back, so there wasn't that much balance on the left side. But Trippier, he provides a great crossing threat, even though he's on the left side. If you can find a way to
mm,
get him that little bit of space. And then Foden, the threat of him running in behind will open up space for Trippier. So
Mm.
if they can figure that out, that will open up so much more for them as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, look, it's a 1-0 win, and it was tightly
Yeah.
fought in that second half. So I think Gareth Southgate has quite a lot to work on, despite it
Yeah,
being a
for
win.
sure.
So let's see how it goes, because we're not going to see this England team really tested until the quarterfinal, like we said. If England does
Yeah.
finish first, they're around the 16 draw. I don't think it's a tough one.
Yeah.
So
Most definitely.
that's been the story for England forever. The Gareth Southgate era, they're
Mhm.
looking fine until they're tested, and
Yeah.
then they just come short.
Look,
Anyways,
you may not be
let's.
too pleased with.
Hmm?
Sorry. You may
All
not
good.
be too pleased with how England didn't dominate the game, especially in the second half. But I feel like that a bit of adversity they faced early on, it's a good test for them, and they didn't concede. They passed that
Mm,
test, maybe not with flying colours, but they survived.
mm,
And Serbia, they're not the best quality on the ball, but they provide a
mm.
different dimension with the size, the physicality they play with, and England coped with it really well. I thought he played amazing today. He was perfect at the back, pretty much.
Yeah, shortly on Serbia, I guess I was disappointed that they didn't take the game on in terms of dribbling at the men, because I certainly felt like, Trippier's out of position, Kyle Walker's not the same Kyle Walker, Trent is in a lot of space sometimes, you can always
Yeah,
get at him, and they don't really have the profiles, I guess, to take people on 1v1. It was a lot
yeah,
of trying to manufacture an overload and get it to a third man, as
yeah,
opposed to just taking someone on 1v1. But yeah, they've got about 3 or 4 quality ball strikers in this squad, and just didn't see it. Just didn't see enough. I think Mitrovic probably had the best chance early on in the game,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then a couple of near misses, almost shots.
yeah,
And on another day, maybe 2-1, but I think 1-0 is a fair result considering how much of the ball England really had today.
yeah,
Anyways, let's get into it. This is not analysis. I think that's really important to say. This is just a little bit of fun. But we are going to compare this England starting 11 with NBA players. So Jordan Pickford. Um,
yeah.
I'm thinking like an undersized guard that talks a lot. Somewhat more bark than bite. More
That's
bark than
interesting.
bite.
Well, when we
Where's your mind at?
quickly mentioned this NBA
Mm,
comparison thing,
mm,
I went to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and you might be a bit confused by that, but I felt like throughout the game today, Jordan Pickford was doing the absolute most with the kicks, with his saves, or with his catches. He was like limbs are going everywhere. He was flying just for no reason, and that reminds me of Shea with marginal contact. The whole body is going everywhere. So that's what I was thinking.
Okay. Okay. I don't mind it. It's a bit out of left field. It's
It
very out
is.
of
It
left
is.
field.
It's very left
Um,
field.
but yeah, it looked like he was trying to get that Instagram reel package, so I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. Kieran Trippier, this has to be a no nonsense leader. Um, I was almost about to say Tim Duncan, but I'll
Mm.
if you can give me a no nonsense leader that doesn't talk too much.
Oh, that's tough. No nonsense leader doesn't talk much. Hmm. Here we go.
Aggressive but not chirpy. Yeah, yeah. The kind of man you'd want your daughter to marry is the
We should
vibe
say
I'm
you're
going
that
for.
kind of man, bro. Not
Sure,
chirpy.
why not? Sure, sure.
Should we move on
Any
to
ideas?
Mark Grady?
All right. Mark Guehi,
I had
Herb
Drew
Jones.
Holiday in mind for Mark Grady. Drew Holiday.
Do you think?
I thought that was
Okay,
a
so
pretty
do you
nice.
think Mark Guehi later on in the tournament, when Kylian Mbappe is going 1-for-1 because players just out of position, you think he can lock it down, hold it down for
Light
one
work.
possession?
Light work. One
Okay,
possession.
okay.
I'm backing my boy Mark.
Okay, he's your boy now because I know you haven't watched a Mark Guehi game before this, but anyways,
Hey, that's my guy.
anyways,
Long time.
anyways.
Long time guy.
Okay, John Stones. I'm
Yeah.
feeling I'm feeling a center that likes to pass the ball,
I
but
was
is
thinking the
still
same
like
thing. I was thinking Alfred
undersized.
Şengün. I was about to say
Yeah,
the same thing.
undersized. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Cool. Cool. We can
Center
move
likes
on.
to pass, undersized.
Yeah.
Alfred
Yeah.
Şengün.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Carl Walker.
Ooh,
Has to be
uh,
like a rim runner, surely. Like just or
a
like,
rim
are you
runner.
just thinking like pace?
I was thinking either Fox or like Gafford as a rim runner.
Okay, I think Gafford, the beard is tricking you into like likening the two players.
Oh, I mean Gafford is a rim runner. Who else we got? Let's see. Who can we think? Kyle
I was
Walker.
thinking Clint Capella, because
Ooh,
he's a little bit clumsy as well. Kyle Walker. There's so many clips
yeah.
now of Kyle Walker just being clumsy,
Yeah, no, I was thinking the
in
same. In the
terms of
first
his
half today,
positioning.
he really showed that he has no left foot at all.
Oh, that's
Like
fine.
no left foot
You can.
touch. No left
I've
foot
gotten
follow.
away with that for years. It you can make do. You can
Yeah, well,
make
I
do.
think the Euros are a bit different to Sunday League in Australia. So
I'm also left-footed, so slight problematic in Sunday League as well.
yeah.
Declan Rice. Okay, big money signing that
Mm,
is a consistent 7 out
just
of 10.
constant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who we
no
got?
complaints about his performance.
Rice.
Hasn't won anything, but always rated. My mind is on Paul George.
That's a good pick.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. Paul George is a good comparison there.
Okay, Trent.
Oh, what you got for me? I feel like you got something up your sleeve here.
Rudy Gobert. Can't defend. Can't defend. Overrated in his role
No,
in
but
the
no,
team.
I can't do that to Trent with the passing side though. I can't. I can't.
All right,
Luca?
so
How about Luca?
I'm just moving on to the next player because
Hey,
you're not.
hey,
There's no
hey,
way
I'm
in
just
hell.
saying.
There's no way in hell.
I'm
There's
just
no
saying.
way in hell you just compared Trent to Luca.
I had to do the passing in there
Okay.
somehow.
Okay.
Oh, Trey Young.
Phil
Trey
Foden.
Young though. Trey Young. Trey Young.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
That's a good one. Trey
I
Young
don't
for
mind
Trent.
that.
I like that.
All right.
Yes.
So Phil Foden. All right. De'Aaron
Look,
Fox, surely.
yeah, I mean, I may have called him Devin Booker during the game purely because of the hairline and all that, but Fox is a solid comparison. Yeah,
I feel like
I feel like
the hairline is something
even
that
Deep
he
Booker
wants.
is a good comparison to be fair as well. To be honest,
Are you calling him a front runner?
I
At 7 o'clock
mean,
in the morning, are you calling Phil Foden a front runner today?
he does play for Manchester City as well, so I'm just saying. I'm just
All
saying.
right. All right. Not like he was the best player of the league or anything. Jude
Nah,
Bellingham.
yeah, I
I
had one
feel like
person in
this is
mind.
where you should be saying Shea Gilgeous Alexander, but
Okay, I was gonna say Steph
we're,
Curry. Just everywhere on the court, everyone in the field running around, making his presence felt.
he did play like that today. He did play like
Yeah.
that today. If you are tuning in, we are doing NBA comparisons for the England 11. Stick around. We might even do the subs. The analysis part of the show has ended. I do apologize. I wish I had more for you. But to sum up, England, very cagey game today, 1-0 win. Jude Bellingham running the show. And
Yeah.
it's interesting because every Jude Bellingham goal leads you to think he's just a poacher. He's just this. But he's so much more than that today. And today really highlighted what he can do all over the pitch, moving around, getting the ball off his defenders, and also just being excellent in the final third. Let's go to Bukayo Saka, John. This is the star boy.
Look,
This is the star boy.
I don't mean this with any offense, but my comparison was prime Lance Stevenson.
That's messed up, man. That's
Look,
messed up.
I don't mean it by any offense, but just the ISOs. Loving the ISOs, cooking on the ISOs. I just saw the Lance Stevenson. It was just funny. I had to. I had
Look,
to do it.
I'm so happy. I've got Rob in the comments. I'm so sorry, Rob. We started talking basketball, but please stick around if you want to enjoy just a good time before you go to work. Um, but Bukayo Saka, I think today he's just so consistent, man. Like
Yeah.
every Bukayo Saka game is the exact same. He'll be on the touchline, and usually it's Odegaard, and Ben White that he links up with. But if
Yeah.
they can get that sort of triangle going with
Jude and
Kyle Walker
Oh man.
and Jude, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
over. And Rob saying Foden was a ghost today, John. I think.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He
Let's
had to
see
be
how he
off one.
goes,
Yeah.
because I feel like a good Foden game is also just this, with him getting more touches on the ball. If we played down the left a bit more, obviously he would have to stick to his position. He'd have to occupy better spacing, like you said.
Yeah.
He's sort of cramping up Trippier.
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
wasn't happy with his
we're not that
positional.
far away from a good Foden performance as well.
Oh,
if we
for
play
sure.
down the left
I'm
a bit
sure
more.
there'll be some. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, just link up wise and positional. I wasn't happy with him at all today.
Mm.
I'm so
Yeah.
surprised he wasn't subbed off, because
I'm gonna need a better comparison for Bukayo Saka, because there is no way we're gonna leave him with Lance Stevenson. Can you think of a star boy,
prime. We
someone
had the
with a
word
good
prime in
image?
front. We had the word prime in front.
Just someone with a good image and a good PR record in the NBA. I know they're hard to find. I'm going Steph Curry with him.
As soon as you said good PR, the troll in me said thought Draymond Green, but we won't go there. Let's see. But Bukayo Saka, who we got? Tyrese Maxey.
I like it. I like it.
I
like it.
Solid
All right,
yeah.
let's wrap this up. Harry Kane.
Yep. I got a good one for this. LeBron James. He gets a lot of attention. I think he got fouled the most today. He got fouled so many times. Delegates to the teammates, let them cook while he gets the attention. And then he's ready to dunk on you at any moment, as you saw when Jared Bowen came on.
John, look at the screen. There's a reason why I'm the only one on here now. There's no way.
What have you done? No.
There's no way you should be comparing Harry Kane to anyone like that. Harry Kane has no trophies, first of all.
I mean, are we talking about the guy who's... No, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to start talking about finals and the GOAT debate. I'm not going to get it.
We're not going there at 7:25 in the morning. Hope everyone that is watching is having a nice, just breakfast on the way to work. Corporate grind, as usual for Johan. I think Harry Kane is DeMar DeRozan. I think that would have been the easiest comparison. Great player, loved by his people, and laughed at by anyone else.
No, I reckon close to LeBron James, but we'll see.
Okay. Let's get back to the analysis, because Rob said 9 crosses, none from the left. Should have played Gordon. Do you think England's going to change this lineup going ahead? You've got some options. You've got Anthony Gordon if you want someone on the left, Cole Palmer, Eze from Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
those 3 guys, and potentially Luke Shaw might hop back in on the left back.
The only change that I could see happening for the next game would either be the Trent position in midfield, if they want to get some more balance in the team, or at left back if Luke Shaw is fit and Southgate wants to go back to that. But other than that, I wouldn't change anything, to be honest. I'll give Foden another game, see how it goes, and try work it out. Because if you can get those 4 playing well together up top, it's going to be so hard to stop for any team.
And what are you thinking then? Let's say England wins that second game. I don't know who it's against. Give me a second.
I think it's...
Let's say they win that second game against Slovenia. Oh, sorry, against Denmark.
Second game's Denmark.
Yeah. What do you think they're going to do against Slovenia? Because you can either do the full rotation like we've seen them do in the past. But like you said, the chemistry, John, right now is so important. We need to see them figure out how to gel Foden, how to gel maybe Trippier or Luke Shaw into the attack. Would you potentially have them play that third game and go for the kill this tournament?
Depending on how they look in that second game, I would definitely still play the absolute certainties in that third game. So Kane, Saka, Bellingham, Rice, and then I guess the back line minus the left back. I'd experiment with other positions with certain players and see how they fit and how it's going if you got that security.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, because I feel like England, like I said earlier in the video, they look fine until they don't. It's a
Yeah,
very clear gap where you're like, okay, you're just not good enough here. And we look
yeah,
back at the past games and we're like, okay, they were good enough to win against this team. They have enough quality getting them through a lot of games,
yeah,
but just fleshing out the tactics is so important. You know, we
for sure.
saw we saw a scrappy France team, to be honest, in the last World Cup, make it all the way to the final with really good moments of individual
Yeah,
brilliance. And they're not an excellent coach team, but they had Griezmann in a very free role. They had Mbappe obviously at the top of his game, and they had enough individuality to really string out results. I don't know if England is going to have that going ahead. If once it gets cagey like it did in the second half, if they verse a better team, they're losing. There's no doubt in my mind about it right now.
mm,
Like if because Kane is relatively easier to lock down compared to back in the day.
yeah.
I don't see it going on for them in the future.
Yeah, for
Easy.
sure. That second half, they've got to find a way to break out of that. They just kind of sat back and let Serbia control that game, and they don't have that quality on the ball. But against better teams, you'll be ripped open and scored against multiple times if you just sit back like that. They've got to because they control that first half so much. They were good on the ball. They pressed really well in that first half, and they went away from that in the
Mm.
second half. They pressed really well, forced Serbia to kick long and get the ball back, and they dominated field position, and they just control that. I don't know why they went away from that. It started in the 41st minute, and Serbia controlled that last 5 minutes of the first half, and then that just flowed on into the second half. So that's something they got to look at and kind
Mm.
of change up or work on.
Look, we've got Johan saying Foden's a waste on the left. Well, before I remember when Foden was just this bit part player. I used to be flung around at striker on the wings because Kevin ran the show at
Yeah,
Man City. But yeah, like it is definitely an option. You could have Gordon start
100%.
and have Foden
Yeah,
come into games, but I don't think they'll do it. I don't think Southgate will do it, to be honest. And we've got the France game tomorrow, John. We're gonna be back on stream tomorrow, and England versus France, if all goes to plan, will be a quarter or a semi-final, I think. So it's
yeah,
going to be interesting to see which team is in better shape going into it, because if they're both scrappy, my money is on France all day, every day, to get the
yeah.
job done.
Same. Yeah.
Easy as. We're going to cap it there, fellas. Thank you so much for tuning in. Almost a 30-minute show today. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, 7 o'clock. When you're in the shower, brushing your teeth before you head off to work, turn this on, turn off Optus Sport, stay locked in, and subscribe for more. Ciao.
See you tomorrow.